This is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. We're putting the cool back into Making College Come True, that's for sure. And today, I'm still actually, every day I'm Pastor John McClain, but today I have with me someone a little new. He comes in as a guest every now and again as to fill in for the one and only Dr. J. He goes by the name Brian Beebe. Thank you for being here with me once again, my friend.
Oh, glad to be back at the desk here.
Yeah. And you're like an old wily vet at the mic, so it's always good to have you fill in because I know you got your own chops. So if I pass out right now, you could take over for me.
We'll forget CPR. We'll just keep moving on. Show must go on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know how it works. Absolutely. And I'm excited for another amazing Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. If you're not aware of Tucson International Academy, it is, I think, safe to say the #1 school for making college come true for your child, ages K through 12, grades K through 12, ages, let's say, 4.5, 5 through 18, 19 years old, if they got held back a year. And they tout and successfully tout 100% of their students get accepted into college. So that is a huge deal. A big thing I've been talking about on this show, and it's kind of like almost like a light bulb went on in Dr. J's eyes when I said it, of like, it's almost like you guys give, underprivileged children a private school experience.
It does. It feels like a private school. Mm-hmm. It's a public school. It doesn't cost them anything. Mm-hmm. But just the life skills that they learn is something that you don't really get in a lot of the other schools. I've been a guest teacher with JA in a half dozen or so high schools in Tucson. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing like TIA out there. Mm. It's just the learning respect, learning kindness, being a peace builder, learning to control your words. When that bad word wants to come out, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
It's a really neat environment.
It's interesting. And the thing that, where it really kind of like caught me, and I think, maybe you had it. I'm pretty sure I had it. Dr. J talked about having another teacher. One of the teachers from TIA came in here, and she was talking about it was her experience of growing up. You were pretty much told by your parents and by your family members and by your grandma and by everybody around you, you're going to go to college. Like it was just told to you. It was like a matter of fact thing. As just like we're going to have chicken for dinner. You were told you're going to college.
Yeah, you get up, you put on your shoes, you brush your teeth, you comb your hair, you go to school. After that, you go to college, and then whatever, because I'm not paying for you anymore.
and we almost I didn't go to a private school necessarily, but I went to almost like a private public school. I grew up in a good area. I grew up with middle upper class. I didn't grow up underprivileged. I grew up relatively privileged, but when I listen to, whether it's students that went to TIA, teachers at TIA, principals at TIA, anybody around TIA, they're all talking about kind of the same lessons that we learn, that from us that had a privileged background and us that had like kind of, this opportunity, and we were taught at a young age, you can do anything you want to do. And it's so beautiful to see how, these kids who, like, they come in regularly and talk about how at home, they try to tell people this is what I want to do. These are my dreams, and they're shot down, and they're, never in their life would they ever dream that they could go to college. But at Tucson International Academy, it's assumed.
Yeah. So, you know what? You're going to make your own decisions. It's a family decision, what path you take. It's your personal decision where you take it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what options are out there, if you believe that, well, this is the end of the road, from here, that's where I'm stuck, then you will be. If you understand that there are other options and that you're capable and you're worthy and that you can bring value back to your community that you love so much at a higher level through education.
Yeah. Yeah. And those who have heard Brian Beebe on the show before, you already know he's like one of the experts that was brought in, like the Yankees, for the Tucson International Academy to help, help navigate kids into college even more even more than they were already doing, if that's possible. But just I guess just like the Yankees were, in the day, they were already winning championships, but then they doubled down by bringing in a big name. That's definitely seems like what TIA did. But being that big name, kind of helping kids navigate that, what would you say are, like, at least in the current, are some of like the steps to getting a kid accepted, or what are the things that can be done to increase the odds for the kids? I know you're telling me about something that you guys are doing right now that really is kind of like one of the change makers in regards to getting a kid accepted into college.
Yeah, the schools get a lot of help from colleges and such on what are the steps. These are the things we need.
Mm-hmm.
And so you do this, you do that, you do this, and then you go here, and then you see what happens. You're at our mercy as a university to decide whether you're worthy enough to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I come from the private sector as a strategist.
Mm.
How do we use those steps to better that student, to increase their odds of success?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, are they applying to the right place for their future? I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If you want to train dolphins, the U of A may not be the best school for you to go to.
Mm.
We don't have a lot of dolphins out here.
Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't seen any.
I have not. No.
Mm.
Not even a lot of dolphin fans even. But so you start there, and then it's the steps. Well, so many of the teachers and counselors, they understand those steps, and they help those kids, and they want those kids to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But what are the strategies within them? Like the Common App essay, or even any entrance essay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how great an essay you wrote. That you had all the commas in the right place and the periods in the right place, your paragraphs look good. That's all important.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what the college is looking for.
Mm.
This is a window into who are you? What do you bring to the table? Are you going to be that kid who graduates? Are you going to be that kid who integrates into the college community and names their firstborn Wilbur, who buys the season pass, graduates, goes on to be successful, and is a contributor? Either financially or just through the culture or whatever it is. So it's important that they actually know what is it that's going to set them aside from the other students beyond what kind of great essay I wrote. So there's things beyond the essay. There's interviews, things that are optional now. If they actually do them, give them an advantage. And with this COVID thing going on, and testing being minimized as an impact, you've got these other things to use to set yourself aside. Because a whole lot of high school kids, you tell them, testing an essay is optional. They're like, sweet, I don't have to do it. SAT is optional. Oh, that's so great. That test is awful. But yet the kids who do it now have something that the others don't. Mm-hmm. They now have an advantage.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's a matter of the student understanding the importance of that, and if they're motivated, then they're going to take advantage of it.
Awesome. Well, great. We'll talk about all that and more after this break. This is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I am Pastor John McClain here with an excellent substitution for Dr. Jennifer Herrera. His name is Brian Beebe. He is the kind of like the MacGyver of making college come true for your child. So definitely go to TucsonInternationalAcademy.com to get more information about the show, as well as how you can make college come true for your child. And we'll be back right after this break to speak more with Mr. Brian Beebe, as well as we'll be speaking with Mr. Ray Smith with Long Realty. We'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Hello and welcome back to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I am Pastor John McClain here with the substitute, very schmitten substitute for Dr. Jennifer Herrera. His name is Brian Beebe. What campus do you work at?
All of them.
All
actually,
the campuses, yeah. If you want his special services or to see his shining face, you can see him at any of the Tucson International Academy campuses.
East Side,
so
Broadway,
just drive
West,
around,
Midvale.
and you'll see him, absolutely. But definitely, most importantly, if you want to make college come true for your child, TucsonInternationalAcademy.com is the first place to look, because they have this very shining record that is almost hard to believe, but I know it's true because I've seen it's true. 100% of their students get accepted into college, so that's pretty impressive. I see now why you just you couldn't help but be part of that power team.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
You know, the look in a kid's eye who's been told his whole life, you're not going to college. What are you thinking? And they get to come home with those acceptance letters. The way a parent looks at a child changes. The way a community looks at a child changes. And more importantly, the way that child looks at themselves changes.
Yeah.
So it is an exciting thing. Even if they decide to go into the military or go to a trade school after that point, they know it's an option.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, the special thing to me about Tucson International Academy is you are literally building pillars of communities. You are literally building strong, upstanding individuals in our community, which is not, you don't see that in too many places. That's the goal.
It aligns very well with the mission of this fine gentleman sitting next to me, who's a board member of Junior Achievement, on what their mission is we're building tomorrow's communities with these kids who have these life skills, these thought processes, and in our case, higher education that give them the tools to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of this fine gentleman sitting next to you that looks like he is no stranger of a gym, we got
No,
Ray.
I'm going to raise my chair up. I'm feeling small right now.
We got Ray Smith here in studio with us, with currently representing Long Realty, I'm told, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and the engineer's looking at me like he can't hear you because I can't hear you.
I can't either. And you know what? He intimidated the microphone.
I know the microphone. No.
Shall we switch? Let's just talk about him instead of listening to him.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put the BB in the corner again.
Oh,
man. The engineer's pointing that
All right.
you have to go here and then he has to go.
I'm in
here.
timeout.
Yeah. I didn't want to do that to you this time, man. I really did it. I went out of my way to make sure that we didn't put the BB in the corner, but
sorry about that.
John
Pastor.
McClain put the BB in the corner. Sorry, bud. We could, if you scoot this way, the camera can still see you though. So, yeah. And we got to make sure that the camera sees Ray. You're such a handsome gentleman. You are, Ray.
You guys will make me feel real good.
It's probably better than I'm back here.
I'm not ready to cry now.
Absolutely. So, I guess let's start off with a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I guess, give us a little tasty taste of your testimony, what got you here, who you are.
First thing I'd like to say is thank you guys. This is really, really humbling to be able to sit there and talk about things and talk about your past and see people who are all about children and getting people moving forward. This is great. Now I'll talk a little bit about me. I grew up in Philadelphia. Grew up in, call it the Tasker Street Projects.
Okay.
Grew up there. Went to school at Central High School. It was all academic school. But when had a scholarship to Morgan State University. But because my parents weren't affluent enough, I didn't have enough money to pay for all the books and everything else. You had a scholarship, but you couldn't pay for everything else. So I had to do something different. And this is my first step to everybody else. Is don't think that you have to do this alone. That's what I realized. I didn't have to do it alone. I'm 50-something years old now. I'm realizing that if I'd had a choice back then, there was somebody over there that could have helped me. I just didn't know. So if you're listening right now, just remember one thing. There is somebody out there who can help you. If you think you're all alone, you are not. And so 18 years old, I decided, okay, I got to do something. So I joined the United States Air Force when I was 18 years old, enlisted, retired at 22 years out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base here. I tell you, that's one of the best careers in my life, best changing life. What it teaches you is discipline. When you grow up in poverty and you don't realize that there's nothing, you don't think there's anything to do, I'm telling you that there's people out there to help you. I told Brian and him about this story about when I was growing up in Philadelphia and in elementary school. I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to go do, but there was one person, and I'm hoping that one day he gets to hear this name, Mr. Militia. He was my 5th grade teacher. And what he told a young African-American was that you can be somebody. You can do it. I don't care where you're living at, what you're doing. You can be somebody. And I can tell you from that day forward, that he made me realize that I could do something. He made me realize that I can graduate, made me realize that I can be somebody, that I can get a degree, that I can get a job, that I can be a professional. And once you get that thing in the back of your head, it's hard to get rid of it, man. Even the bad days, you're like, wow, man, something bad. You say, oh, nope, Mr. Militia said I can do this. Let me find a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
And then after I retired out of the Air Force, started working for Raytheon for 16 years. And then the COVID came along, and I was the international program manager of Raytheon. And what happened was that when you're international program manager and you're not traveling, anything like that, things happen. So my job got furloughed, and then I'd already had my real estate license. So then I started real estate. And I can tell you from a chief of mine named Bob Kotanowski, to tell me it's not how you fall down, it's how you get up. And every time I fell down, I tried my best to get up and be a better person from where I came from. So that's kind of like my background in a nutshell. And things that made me really happy about all this stuff is that being asked to be a part of the Junior Achievement Board of Directors. I mean, I still can't imagine somebody asked me to do this be a part of this great organization.
Ask that fifth grader.
Yes, man. Somebody asked that fifth grader that, okay, when you want to be a part of this and help other people, I'm like, are you serious? You're talking to me, right? And we had a conversation, and I tell him what I told you right now is that all I want to do is help one person. Somebody help me, I want to help one person. If I help one person, that one person helps somebody else. And eventually we'll get everybody a chance, an opportunity to realize that it's not easy, but you can do it if you believe in yourself, you believe in God, and you can take all these things with you. It's gonna happen. Take them with you as you move forward. Don't forget about your past, but remember how you got here and what got you here, and it'll help you be strong later on.
Awesome.
Hope I didn't take too long. I apologize, guys.
No, you didn't. This is all your time, so no, it'll take as long as you need.
Let me finish up then. I got some more things to talk about.
It's just such an inspiring story. It's beautiful, and it's just like, and those who go to kvoi.com and catch this show, you get to see you. It's hard to think that you've lived as long as you say you've lived. It's hard to think that you did 22 years and 16 years on top of that, and now you're just like kicking and fighting, ready for looks like another 20-year career under your hands. So
I'm excited. I'm excited about life.
And I think we were and it's wild. It's funny. God has the funniest sense of humor. We were talking about right before you came in, and what Tucson International Academy is so special, and Junior Achievement I think is so special, is like it ingrains into a child's head at kindergarten, you're going to college.
Yeah.
Now, you can do whatever you want to do. It's just a matter of, like we learned in the military, the discipline and the integrity and the fortitude and and so on the core values that were ingrained into us.
And it just made you realize a lot of things that you just don't realize. And I wish that I don't want everybody to go to the military, listen to me, and don't do that, because it's an acquired taste. I tell everybody, even my friends who got out after 4, I said, it's all right, man. I said, you do what you got to do. This is an acquired taste. I acquired the taste. I liked it. I loved the leadership. I loved being a part of a team. And I love serving my country.
Yeah. Well, we will be talking about all that and much more with Mr. Ray Smith with Long Realty after this break. You guys sit right there. If you really want, you can go get a snack, go to the bathroom, but you guys have like a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops till we're back, and I don't want you to miss anything. So this is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. We'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Hello and welcome back, you amazing people sitting there with your eyes so bright, so ready to hear some amazing radio. We're going to make that possible for you. I'm Pastor John McClain here with the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy, with the best like fill-in for a side person that I could ask for. I love myself some Dr. Jennifer Herrera. I couldn't ask for a better co-host than her, but I do have a good fill-in in Brian Beebe here with me. Thank you, Brian.
You're also known as not Dr. J.
Not Dr. J. Yeah, absolutely. Not the mama or not Dr. J, whichever you choose.
And that's Philadelphia, man. Don't talk about my Dr. J.
yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about the earliest, man.
That's our superintendent at our school. The kids call her Dr. J.
Yeah, I think it's her love for that same character is why she took on that name. So
she knows he was a good person. He did a lot for Philadelphia and did the best he could to promote young kids too, also, and remind us that keep going forward.
Yeah, I want to think, especially growing up, just playing basketball and just, I'm, half black man myself. Dr. J it was Dr. J and Michael Jordan were the two characters that were just like really helped shape who I became as a young man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And now as an older man, Dr. J is helping me shape who I'm becoming as a man. So we're full circle. Absolutely. And so we have Ray Smith here in studio with us. He is an Air Force vet, former international
program manager for
Raytheon, from Philadelphia residents, and all the great things that came out of there. Tell us about I think you touched on a little bit, but tell us about your decision making in going to college at all, and then what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, that was Mr. Militia. He wanted to make sure that no matter what, that you went to college. So when you join the Air Force, you have the program where you can go to college and you go through all the step programs. You remember you all take all those exams to see what class you can forget or what class you can skip.
Yeah,
I did all that, and so what happened was I just went to school, go to work, go to school, go to work, go to school, but then in between came family. So you sit back and you're thinking that you're going to get there, and you keep going to school, and then you go more, and you don't go. And then all of a sudden you have kids and you have a job, and then you're out of the military. Now you have Raytheon. And you're like, I never felt fulfilled. I felt like something was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to Raytheon, and Raytheon is full of engineers, some of the smartest men you'll ever see. These guys are bright. They can show you why 1 and 1 is not 2. That's an awesome thing to do, man. You can't even think, how can 1 and 1 not equal 2? Let those guys tell you. They're brilliant. And so I'm like, wow, I'm around these guys, and I just didn't have it. I didn't feel like I had everything. So I went back to school, and during this whole time, I went to, I was doing everything. I probably went to 3 or 4 classes in resident. Everything else was done online. I was doing while I was flying on the plane. I was doing homework. I was writing the paper while I was going to Japan for one time. I was writing the paper. I actually had to do a report from Japan. I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do a report for the class and stuff. And so I finally graduated from Embry-Riddle. And the funny part, because I'm the first one in my family to graduate from college.
That's amazing.
And it was kind of a really big deal, because me and my sister made a bet. And my sister is an assistant pastor out in Philadelphia.
Nice.
And so she was like, I'm going to finish school before you are. I said, no, you're not. So we both said, let's bet $100. So when I graduated, the first person I called, Trisha, I'm done. Where's my $100? She looked and laughed. She said, I got it for you. I said, no, give it to you, my niece or my nephews. I just wanted you to know that I'm done. What makes it bad, then my sister went on to get her bachelor's, then went on to get a master's. So I'm really mad at her now. And now she's talking about getting her doctorate. I'm like, come on, Trish, you're hurting me here. I can't do all this like you. But she said that the fact that I finished made her realize that we need to go ahead and do it. So I was the first and she was the second.
Nice.
And now both of my girls, one is 30, one is 25, both are graduates of U of A. And I tell the story, I told you the story to these guys, is that both of my daughters are graduates of U of A because I love U of A. I love them so much. I love the university. I love everything about it. I love the sports. I love the teachers. I like a lot of the coaches. And so everything they wear, they see I wear nothing but U of A. I got U of A stuff. I think one time I would get a tattoo, but I don't like tattoos. They hurt too much. So we sat back there, and both my daughters said, Dad, the only reason why we went to U of A is because of you. And I said, to me, I don't care how you go. As long as you go and get a degree, I'm good. So both of my girls are alumni, and I'm the one who the greatest fan of them is not alumni. So U of A, you listen, I'll take one, what it called, posthumously, I'll take one of those degrees then if you don't mind. I just want to be an alumni. I just want to wear my alumni plaque in the back of my car. So that's where I came from and going to college, and thought about getting my master's, but then right now I'm working so much just trying to help people, being a board of directors of the Junior Achievement. I love saying that. Being on the board of directors of Junior Achievement. Also, I'm a committee member for the Barstool Arizona Bowl. I'm on that committee.
Nice.
I'm all about trying to bring Tucson back to what we wanted to be. We don't want it to be Phoenix, but we do want people to come to Tucson, and I want people to love Tucson. But I always tell people I don't want too many people to come. I still want to drive around. So I don't want too many guys coming to Tucson. Just some of you people. So that's how I feel about this city and about everything. I'm the luckiest man walking the face of the earth. I'll tell everybody that. And if there's somebody who works hard in me, I want to know who you are, so I can learn how hard you're working, so I can learn to be at work.
Right.
I don't want anybody outworking me. I just want to be the best person I can be.
Think of all those people that he's talking about that he became the example of,
Mm-hmm.
all because of a 5th grade teacher.
Yeah.
Which is the most important thing, is that you got to have someone out there, and that's what I want to be. And I was telling these guys, you just don't know. One time you're going to do it, and you're not going to never know what happened 20 years, 30 years from now. And that guy is going to be the president of a company, the president of the United States. And even if he doesn't use your name, he's going to remember. The story where we're talking about with Bryant, when the guy he didn't know his name, but he went and got a resume. He got a resume filled out because Brian had taught him how to do it. Didn't know Brian's name from a can of paint.
Yeah, there was, I think I told the first part of that story one of the first times I was on, was I was teaching in a classroom and was at Pueblo, and this kid just sat in the corner just being defiant and had his earbuds in, but I don't think he had music on. I think he was listening.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the series it's a 5 or 6 week series of lessons once a week. And by the end, he was up and engaged. And I found out at this meeting that we had, a J meeting yesterday, that he went up to his teacher and said, "Will you proofread my resume?" She's like, "What?" "Yeah, I have a resume. I'm applying for a job. That guy that was here, he told us how to do it. So can you proofread it?" I mean, just like, it makes me want to cry thinking about it. The kid in the corner that, is trying to be defiant and the bad example of the class. It's changed. He's listening. These kids, everybody out there, they're listening, they're watching, they're looking for the examples of the Rays of the world.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's just so beautiful, Ray. I mean, just not only how you change your life, but you just change your whole family. Like, you just switch the gears of your family. So we'll talk about that and more with Ray Smith with Long Realty. This is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm Pastor John McClain here with Brian Beebe. We'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Welcome back to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm Pastor John McClain, here among friends, it seems. I also have Brian Beebe here with me, he's almost like a cousin, so I really want to call him a friend. But me and Ray mentioned another thing that we share, other than the fact that we're veterans. We're both members of the Arizona Sands Club. If you do not know about the Arizona Sands Club, don't worry about it. We don't need any more members because it's already too packed, and I want it to be my own little secret. So mind your business.
Yeah, don't even think about it. When you see us on the streets, just say, "What's the Arizona Sands?" We'll say, "Oh, you're talking about something else. We don't even know that exists."
I don't know.
We weren't there for that conversation. We don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know anything.
The food is incredible, but I don't remember where it's at.
Yeah. I don't know anything about a restaurant inside of the University of Arizona football stadium. Nothing.
Oh gosh,
Great
views, the best views in Philadelphia, best views in Tucson.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to take a picture every time I go.
I love it. Yeah. I try. Lately, I've been. I'm writing my second book. Really diligently writing my second book, shall I say? And I go there 3 times a week. Spend at least 2 or 3 hours there, just writing away, just hanging out. And it's just such a beautiful place. Just like you're saying, definitely the best views. Like, we got some great views here in Tucson with mountains and stuff like that. But there's just something about overlooking that stadium that's just like
seeing that A,
and then seeing like the football players doing their pregame stuff there, doing their walkthroughs, seeing like the kickers doing their things. On the other side, you got the little practice soccer team,
where the band practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, and you see the band practice and see them. See those kids out there doing such wonderful work.
It's so cool.
Funny part about that is, for about 7 years, I had a friend named Dave Rose, who got me on actually to be a volunteer for the U of A band. So I actually was a videographer for the band for like 7 years. So I used to sit there and watch the band all the time. It was great, and I was a band dad. My daughter, 9th through 12th grade, she went to Tucson High. Shout out to Tucson High.
Tucson High.
And she was a drum major her last year. You guys know her. Selena Smith. Everybody knows her. And so the funny part about it is that every year, from the beginning to 9th to 12th grade, she'd be like, "I don't want to do this, Dad." I said, "Go." And then after that, she go and be in a band in the end of the year. "Dad, that was a great year. I had a great time. I met so many people, 10th grade." "Oh, I don't want to do this, Dad." I said, "Go." "Oh, Dad, that was a great year." I mean, every single year for 4 years, she did that. And then it made me realize that sometimes it's difficult for your kids don't want to do something. And we may think you're pushing them, but sometimes I don't think we're pushing them. We're just guiding them to a certain area, and then making them realize that there's other things in life besides sitting at home all day. Just go to the band. If you don't like it, then tell Dad, and we'll work around it. But you got to make sure they're well-rounded and had other things to do. And that's what I try to do for my girls. Just not be afraid of anything. Always be mindful of everybody. I used to laugh because my girls are probably the nicest people around the world to everybody. Boy, when those girls get home, whew.
Hey, so
You
nice
know girls,
little,
man. Yeah. Woo. My babies, man. But I love them. I love them. I love the
That's
heck out of
nice.
them.
So you are a real estate agent with Long Realty. How long have you been a real estate agent with Long Realty?
I've been a real estate agent almost 2 years. My wife, Sandra Johnson, is a real estate agent. She's the one that got me into it. Her and Lori Mars.
Okay.
And I got a shout out to Tom Edenbach. He's another one that influenced me. So they said, hey, I was going to a real estate luncheon with my wife, and Tom came in and said, man, you came in this room. You got some press. You need to come be a real estate agent. I'm like, I'm not doing that crap, man. That's too much. That's too much work. I'm not going to do something like that. I'm not.
That's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, and then I went and talked to my wife about it, and then she said, oh, you might be good at it. And then our business partner, Lori Mars, was saying, yeah, you can be good at it. And every week, well, almost every week, it seemed like it was every week. Did you get your real estate license yet? Did you get your real estate license yet? And sometimes you need to be pushed. You know that. You just need to be pushed. You don't know it at that time. But I went and got my license and started working with my wife. And really what I do, I try my best to just be the best person and make sure that everybody gets what they need. It's all about people. If you think it's just about making money and selling the house, then I really don't. I think you're in the wrong business. That's only Raymond's opinion. Please don't say that I'm writing a book about it or that my words are right. I'm just telling you what I think about it. And that's the one thing about it. It's all about people. Any job, what you do, being a pastor, being a teacher. It's all about people. We don't with selflessness. And if you have selflessness, it's so much easier to do any one of these jobs. That's how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I think it just as a general, it's easier to serve people if you're trying to serve people. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess outside of you got kind of had these people telling you should get into real estate, and then you were talking about before you had the furlough with Raytheon. What is the transition actually being a full-fledged real estate agent been like for you so far?
I can tell you first. I tell you when I got to notice that that was being let go. The first thing I told the people, the last thing I told the people was that thank you very much for the opportunity. Because you don't. It's not their fault that this happened. It's just it's life. Things happen. You have to sit back and take a pride about, hey, I did the best I could. You guys did the best you could. Thank you very much for what you've done, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to move on. So for me, it was just knowing that I was able to talk to people every day. I always like being in front of the business. Even Raytheon International Program Manager, you're in front of the business, talking to the customer, letting them know about your product. And now my product is me. So I didn't know how to sell me, but I knew if I just said the fact that, hey, just be honest, be truthful, say, hey, I'm going to do the best I can with what I'm able to do, and what I don't know, I'll find out for you. The one thing you can trust, and I'll be honest, and I will always I'll do my best to tell you the truth. And sometimes the truth may not be what you want to hear, but it will be the truth, and then we can discuss on what the follow-on action is going to be after that. But always being upfront with everyone is really, really easy to do. To me, so everybody says it was an easy transition, but it wasn't, because I didn't want to overstep my bounds. Because you don't know what you don't know. And when you're talking about people making the biggest purchase of their life, you want to make sure that you're taking care of them from beginning to end. And that's what scared me the most. Is that I'm responsible for people buying $300,000 million homes. That's a big deal. And then come out a year later, they didn't like it. I feel like it's something I did. So I want to make sure that when they leave, when I leave that day and they sign that paperwork, that they know that Raymond did everything he possibly could. Stuff is going to happen because it's called life. But everything I possibly did to make sure that you have you're in the property that you want to be in. And not, like I said, not for me, for you, because I'm going to be happy if you're happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you got your bachelor's while you were working at Raytheon?
Yeah.
And then you went to real estate school because you just couldn't get enough school? Is that the thing?
Nah, you had to get your license to get there. So if they told me I could get my real estate license by not going to class, I wouldn't have went. Funny part is I went to real estate class with my wife's son. And the funny part about it is that he's a smart kid. And so you're going with a kid, and they give you tests every 2 weeks. And so every 2 weeks we get a test, and I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. I would get an 85, he'd get an 89. I get an 85, he'd get an 89. I get an 81, he'd get 86. So when we go to take our final test, your final test in real estate, they don't tell you your score.
Uh-huh.
But for people who don't know that, every time they talk about me and him and about our testing, so yeah. I said, Derek got like a 70. He just barely passed me. I got like a 98. I said, man, I'm a bad real estate agent.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, you prove me wrong. Because Derek's horrible at this stuff, man. Derek was like, God, man. I said, no, they don't know, so they don't know. I got the better score. And it's all about, that's what it's all about, doing that and being fun about what we're doing in our life, I like to joke around because I like to laugh. I think my brother was here a week ago, and he told me something, man, that he didn't see. He said, I was in your house, man. I woke up one day, and I just heard you and your wife laughing. He said, man, that was the best thing I had ever heard. And you don't realize little things like that, And so it makes me realize that, laughter is really, really good. We got to make sure we keep those kind of things going on and as we move forward.
Yeah. And I think that I'm really glad that we had a real estate agent on today, because a big thing I've been hearing lately, which is crazy because, like, and it's interesting with your situation, like, you've pretty much you're like a COVID real estate agent, because you've pretty much only been a real estate agent since COVID's been going on. Yet it also seems like the market's hot right now. So tell us your experience on that. And like, from what I'm hearing, like, houses are like flying off the market right now. Like, houses are selling at record levels.
The first thing is that the inventory wasn't there for a while. Inventory means that we're supposed to have 6 months of inventory, and we're having like 3 weeks of inventory. So that's saying there's 600 houses on the market. But there's
there's over 6,000 realtors in Pima County.
Understand that, and they all
with
trying
600
to sell,
houses,
and they all trying to sell houses, and they all trying to make a living. And there's only 600 houses, and there's a lot of people trying to get those houses. So the prices of them went up, because if you're the only house and there's 5 people bidding on it, it's going to go up. So that's what has been going on as COVID was going on. Because what happened, what COVID did was made people realize that they don't have to be in California to work. They can come live in Tucson in a much cheaper neighborhood, not cheaper neighborhood, but just cheaper community, and still make that same amount of money they're making in California. So they're coming over here, buying the properties up, and living here, and like, wow, this is great, because they're commuting from home. So it made it harder for people who live in Tucson just trying to move up because they're all conventional guys, and these guys are coming in with cash. So we can talk for like a half an hour and talk about the little different things, the nuances about what was going on during COVID. It's hard to describe it in the next minute or two without smack there and running out of time. There's some cool things about it. There's some good things about it. There's some bad things about it. But Brian brought up one of the worst things. There's 6,000 of us in there. That's a lot of real estate agents in this small market, and everybody's trying to make it, and you're just trying to do your best to do it. So my goal is to just try to be the best person. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it wasn't because I didn't try. But get the man upstairs. You sit back and keep asking what's next. So that's my goal, Pastor, to keep asking what's next. What I'm gonna do next? I'm gonna keep improving.
I definitely see with you. God's got a lot of cool stuff in store for you. So certainly, you don't ever have to get down on yourself, because
thank you, sir.
If anything. Right now, any lull, it's to rest up for what's coming for you. Because I definitely see a book on the horizon for you, maybe your own show in some capacity. At least try a podcast. It's a free little ditty that you can do. Because you're just full of talent and personality and ability. It's just like, it's seeping out of your pores. Anybody who meets you, it'd be hard for them not to see it. So, definitely. I hope you continue to be that lighthouse for the world that you are, because you got a lot of work left in you. And
thank you, Pastor. I'm going to try.
Yeah,
thank you, Pastor. That means a heck of a lot to me. You guys sitting here, and sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And today I just realized that, man, life is so good. I'm so blessed. Just smile, be happy, listen to the men talk, and enjoying life, and we will be better. It will be good. This place will get better. It has to, because we're here. And so the kids are going to get better, because we're going to make sure they get better. We're going to do whatever we can from junior achievement to make sure that they're on their way up.
Absolutely. Well, that is Mr. Raymond Smith with Long Realty. How can people get a hold of you?
Oh, yes, you can get a hold of me at rsmith@longrealty.com, or you can call me at 520-904-7711. Ray Smith, Long Realty, Lori Marstein.
Heck yeah, this is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. We'll catch you next week. I'm Pastor Sean McClain with Brian Beebe.